However, with this rift now more than 7 months old, the GCC is now split not only over the Muslim Brotherhood issue and the issue of revolutionaries versus counter-revolutionaries, but over broader differences among what I call the Iran accommodationists and the Iran rejectionists. The accommodationist camp is Oman, Kuwait, and Qatar. The rejectionist camp, which is to some extent drawing strength from the Trump administration's policy on Iran, consists of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Bahrain. Somewhat ironic is that Iran cannot possibly be at the core of this inter-GCC crisis, even though Iran was cited by the boycotting group as one of the justifications for isolating Qatar. Oman is much closer to Iran than Qatar is. Kuwait's relations with Iran are perhaps not as close as Oman's are, but are more extensive than Qatar's are. It's noteworthy Iran reached out to the GCC in early 2017 to lower tensions, and they went through Kuwait, not Qatar. Rouhani, in fact, as part of that initiative, visited the Gulf in early 2017. He went to Oman and Kuwait. He did not go to Qatar. Each of the rejectionists view Iran as a major threat. It cannot be trusted. It must be countered any way possible, everywhere possible. The rejectionists in the GCC argue that any Gulf concessions to Iran will be pocketed and have no effect on Iran's regional behavior at all. Saudi Arabia, obviously, for Saudi Arabia, Iran is leading a broad challenge to the kingdom and all of its allies region-wide, and directly threatens the kingdom's legitimacy within Islam. For the UAE, Iran is also a territorial threat, having seized and refused to return the Tum Islands and Abu Musa Island, which were seized actually by the Shah, not the Islamic Republic. Bahrain views itself as the most vulnerable of the GCC to Iranian influence. It has a Shia majority. Since the early 80s, Bahrain has repeatedly accused Iran of sponsoring coups, uprisings in the country, and Bahrain certainly attributes Iranian meddling to the continuing unrest that has taken place since 2011. GCC accommodationist camp has a completely different philosophy. In general, the accommodationist camp, the Omanis, the Kuwaitis, and the Qataris, argue that there's little to gain by antagonizing Iran. They don't necessarily disagree that Iran has nefarious goals and motives that are at odds with the GCC, and that it's conducting malign activities in the region. However, the accommodationists argue that the best way to reduce the threat is through dialogue and including Iran as part of the Gulf conversation. Part of the reason the accommodationists make these arguments they do is that the accommodationist camp has far fewer concerns about Iran, each for different reasons. Kuwait's population is about 30% Shia, but in contrast to Bahrain, Kuwaiti Shias are fully integrated into the political system, the economic system, economic ownership structure. Shias in Kuwait's National Assembly are actually supporters of the Sabah government. Kuwait has little to fear from Iranian meddling, and Kuwait has positive sentiments toward Iran for being Saddam Hussein's principal antagonist, with Kuwait still in shock over the Iraqi invasion in 1990. Qatar has had no particularly negative experience with Iran. The two agreed to share the large gas field that spans the Gulf, and there's no indications Iran has violated that agreement. It is moving forward. There's been no, Qatar sometimes expresses fears that Iran might go back on that agreement, but so far there's been really no problem. Oman is the closest to Iran of the GCC states, still appreciating the Shah's help in putting down the Dhofar rebellion of the 1970s. Oman has brokered U.S.-Iran prisoner exchanges even during the Iran-Iraq War. The U.S. captured some Iranians during the skirmishes that took place there. Detainee exchanges. The famous hikers in Iran were repatriated to the United States via Oman brokering. Oman brokered talks with Obama administration officials that ultimately became the mechanism to get to the Iran nuclear deal. Iran is a major investor in Oman's big Duqm port expansion and has served as a repository for excess heavy water that Iran has produced and needs to export to stay within the framework of the nuclear deal.